It's helping us make
just to be clear, though, what that study found was that there had been an argument by wind opponents that wind was no better than gas.
Right.
And what that study found was that, in fact, wind is better than
And it
gas.
wasn't requiring huge amounts of gas.
Well, it wasn't found requiring so much gas to back it up that you were losing the benefits of having
I don't think we're having
intermittent systems, right?
Huge difference here. It's clear, I think it's pretty clear at this point that fracking, the cheap gas, isn't a kind of bridge to the future, which was the rhetoric people kept using, that instead it's sort of building the pier further out, this kind of rickety pier further out into the hydrocarbon lake, you know?
I just want to say one thing, which is that Bill cites a lot. And there's a bunch of studies out there, and it's just what a colleague of mine calls an excess of objectivity. If you're anti-fracking, you can do a study that shows that there's no benefit whatsoever to this gas. And of course, it's all dependent on how carbon intensive you think a coal plant is going to be in 2070, and whether you assume that gas is a transition to something, or it's just gas for all eternity. Similarly,
I want to back out of fracking for a second.
I want to say,
I was going to say, accused of many things, but excess of objectivity is a new one.
All I want to point out is that there's a lot of you can actually look. You know, there's studies. People who don't like it say it's had no impact on emissions, or it's only 10%. You know, and I can tell you the 8 things that are wrong with the assumptions that go into that. You get people who exaggerate it the other way and say it's all gas, and it's not that. I think clearly there's short and medium term benefits, and the question is what you do with it. But my larger point was just that when we kind of react to these things in these sort of immediate, it's gas, it's a fossil, so it's bad. And then we go and we find the evidence that supports that. And if you want to break up the polarization, which was to your original question, I think we're really well served to question some of those instincts.
Larry, quick.
If I might respond, I'm from Pennsylvania, so I'm living with the fracking, and I understand, Bill, what you're talking about with landscapes. Some of my favorite places, in fact, places that I helped acquire and protect for the Commonwealth are now being butchered. So I take that very personally. But let me say something about the gas plants and what we're doing. We're spending right now last time I checked, about $130 billion building new gas-fired power plants that are going to be around probably 30 to 50 years. And we're going to create stranded costs instead of taking those same dollars and investing in wind. And one example of what's happened to wind as a result of Vestas Wind Company, which is the largest wind manufacturer in the world, their stock has gone from $42 a share down to $2. You can go out tomorrow and buy their shares for $2 on the market. And that tells me a lot about what's happening to the wind industry as a result of our dash to gas. And so in my mind, there is a serious problem here. We need to recognize it, understand that we're betting on a fuel that will not protect our children's future, and instead of investing in those technologies that will give our kids a safe landing.